So I'm joined with my co-hosts Adam and Zelda. Her legs right there. She's kind of like right now. Zelda, Adam. So Sweet Baby Inc. Sweet Baby Inc. continues work with Remedy Games after destroying Alan Wake 2 with DEI sensitivity. Now, I don't know why people are bothering with these agencies, these consultancy firms, and all that. Uh, why not just okay? So we know that the world is diverse. We don't need to see it to know it's diverse, but these game studios are diverse. There's women there. There are black people there. There are black men, black women, Latinos, right? So instead of hiring a consultancy to insert forced DEI, with characters that are badly written, whose character and their entire personality is based solely around how they identify, their skin color or their gender, why not, if it was me, go around, ask the people who work for you, the people who are black, the women, why not learn their stories? Why not learn their stories? Take personality traits from them and incorporate that into a character. That way, it's actually authentic because you're taking real people and real life experiences and putting it into a character. Instead of taking a character and making them black for the sole purpose of diversity and lacking in the personality department, and just their entire personality is the fact that they're black, why not go around and take experiences from the people around you? Why hire a consultancy like Sweet Baby Inc. who doesn't give a crap about authentic characters? They just want it physically to be seen. They don't care about characters. They don't care about personality. So why are these people even working with Sweet Baby Inc. and any other consultancy agency like that when you can just do the work yourself? And again, if it was me, I'd go around. If I had a company, it had like 100 people, go around to those people, ask them their stories, learn more about them, their personalities, and incorporate a little bit of everyone into the character. So that way it feels authentic. So that way, if you have a black character, it's going to feel more authentic because now real pieces of those people are now put into that character. Is that a possibility, companies? Or do you just want to keep hiring Sweet Baby Inc. and failing, having to lay off good people because you're losing money? It's it's your move. Remedy Games is pressing forward in its controversial partnership with Sweet Baby Inc., even as the fallout from Alan Woke 2 continues to mount. That's what people call it now. That's what people call it now, They call it Alan Woke instead of Alan Wake, because Sweet Baby Inc. worked on it, and they're, what the kids say, woke as hell. Here's JT. But over here with Smash JT. I don't know why it keeps doing this crap. I installed this just to, actually, let me go ahead and just do that. On Twitter, I already have it set on night mode or dark mode, whatever you want to call it. But then when I do that, blinded by the lights, revved up like a deuce, another roller in the night. It's not revved up like a douche. That's what misheard lyrics. And you're like, oh my God, John, you're old. I know. I'm a lot older than I look. I understand I've got that youthful boy appearance, but I'm a lot older than I look. Anyway, it doesn't stop at Alan Woke 2. Remedy Games is still infected with Sweet Baby Inc. According to SBI employee Sophia Wolf's public website, they're currently working on an unannounced Remedy game. Oh boy, I can't wait to see what sort of game it is. Writing for an unannounced for the Crush House. Do you notice anything about all these games? Like Crush House, no one played. Suicide Squad, no one played. Alan Woke 2, no one freaking liked. Do you see the problem here with this consultancy? No one plays their games after. Here's a master of the TDS. I've been told over and over they have lost no Yeah, we actually talked about that the other day. How, despite the fact that Sweet Baby Inc. has driven so many companies into the ground, not only those companies, but other companies are still willing to work with them. We got Fandom Pulse. There are too many studios infected with the woke mind virus. All we need to do is not buy. Non-binary. Still hasn't made back any of its money. Ideologues will never admit they were wrong. They were wrong. Yeah. Instead, they'll just blame the gamer. Ah! Ah, the light! Oh, no, go away. There we go. There we go. There we go. It's all nice and perfect again. I think we can go. Get rid of that. For Remedy Games, it's pressing forward. It's a controversial partnership. You know, Fallout, Alan Woke 2, so continues to mount. Despite widespread criticism of the game's narrative, which many fans blame on SBI's disruptive influence, public information from an SBI employee reveals that the firm is currently working on an unannounced Remedy game. This revelation has left fans questioning whether Remedy Games is willingly ignoring its audience or past failures in favor of... I mean, it's obvious. I think it's a little bit of both. I think these people are just downright stupid, and they're willfully ignorant. You know, they know that it's happening, but again, they don't care. Because it seems like businesses are not in the business anymore to make money. They just want to push a message. So for them, it's like, oh, well, while we can, we're just going to push out as many games that push a certain message. If we go out of business, who cares? Who cares? Those games are already out there. Because there's no reason why any logical person would look at Sweet Baby Inc. and everything that they've touched and how it's turned to crap, look at that and say, yeah, I want to work with this company. Again, why not just do it yourself? You know, when Sweet Baby Inc. Hello. This has been my TED Talk. No. When Sweet Baby Inc. write characters, they never give them personality. They never give them any personality. And if you're going to follow a character around, no matter what color or race or whatever, they need to have personality. You need a reason to care about them. But these people, they don't make characters like that. They'll make a black character, but then their entire personality is that they're black. So again, if you have a staff, 100 people, you go around, it doesn't even have to be just solely the black people. Just ask people, you know, what drives them, what the personality is, and take those and put that into a character. That way it's authentic because you're asking people instead of thinking like, what should this... And then, you know, reading some fucking fanfic or some shit. Like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever read. My character, you know? It's kind of like with Dragon Age. You know, people said the Fail Guard, it feels like it's basically a fanfic. Others say it's like they read a fanfic and then made a fanfic of the fanfic. That's how the writing was. It doesn't feel authentic. But if you're taking experiences from people, real experiences from people, and incorporating little pieces of that into a character, no matter who you are, if their color is black, you're going to relate to them. If they're women, you're going to relate to them. If they're trans, you're going to relate to them. I don't understand what's so fucking hard about this. But I'm still going to be called the freaking phobistanism because people are so freaking stupid that they can't comprehend the fact that Maybe these characters are just badly written. Maybe it's not that we care about the diversity. Maybe the fact that it's just always stereotypical, or they're just poorly written. I mean, is that a possibility, guys? Or is that just, you have a better chance of being struck by lightning? Remedy's risky bet on Sweet Baby Inc. For years, Remedy Games was celebrated for its storytelling prowess, with titles like Max Payne and Alan Wake earning a loyal fan base. However, the studio's partnership with Sweet Baby Inc. has introduced a troubling trend. Sweet Baby Inc., a narrative design firm that openly prioritizes diversity, equity, and inclusion, has become a flashpoint in the gaming world. Critics argue that its approach consistently prioritizes ideological messaging, over quality storytelling. Yeah. And why these people keep working with this company is beyond me. After featuring DEI elements like race-swapped character, Alan Woke 2 was a major financial flop that put a lot of stress on the studio. Oh man, this game's doing terrible, and it's all because we worked with Sweet Baby Inc. Let's work with them again. Again, I've said before, these companies are like that moron kid who, you have your stove, right? And you have the kid that goes up and puts his hand on the stove while it's on. Normal people, they burn themselves and they're like, okay, I'm not going to do that again because there's negative consequences. These people are that freaking idiot kid. They're Chow. Like, they're the fucking morons who don't learn. They clearly know that working with this company is going to have negative effects, and yet they keep doing it. Which proves, once again, either they're clearly not in a business to make money anymore. Because any logical person would know that, oh, this company is causing me to lose money because they may not have my best interest at heart. Seems like they're focused on pushing their agenda. And while I want diversity, they seem to be the extremists here. So, I'll work with them. They haven't done me wrong in the past. I only had to lay off like 100, 200 people, but they've never done me wrong. They're the idiot kids who don't learn not to put your hand on the fucking stove. But instead of distancing itself with SBI and its controversial CEO, Kim Blair, after the failure of Alan Woke 2, Remedy appears to be doubling down on the collaboration. And a lot of the time it's, we're going to stick it to the chud gamers. Ooh. Okay, then lose the hundreds of $1 million and lay off good people. We don't have to buy your crappy $80 game. You, on the other hand, the company spending hundreds of millions of dollars to create a game, you can't be so lax about it. You might want to care. We don't have to. We don't have to care. We don't have to pay for your game. But you're the one making the game. You're the one who has the jobs at risk here. So maybe instead of trying to send a political message and sticking it to the chuds, maybe you should care about, being able to keep people employed. Is that also a possibility here, or is you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning? Alan Wake 2, a franchise derailed. The failure of Alan Wake 2 stands as a cautionary tale of what happens when fan-favorite franchises are handed over, to ideological-driven firms like SBI. Once praised for its dark, atmospheric storytelling, the series lost its way in the sequel, just like many stories, honestly. With many people, except for like Back to the Future 2, that was amazing. I mean, come on, it took place not only in the present time, but then you had the future, and then they had to go back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass. I mean, it was the best. It was the best around, and nothing was going to ever keep it down. Lord of the Rings. Amazing. Uh, you know, I would bring up maybe Twilight, but all of Twilight sucks. All of Twilight sucks. But you know, there are a lot of times where maybe that whole sequels don't aren't as successful. You know, it's really not true sometimes. But that's usually the case. Sometimes you have a hit, and then you're like, oh my god, it was a hit. I'm gonna make a new one. And then everyone's like, that's just it's not hitting the same. It's not it's like Overwatch 2. People were like, "Oh, an Overwatch 2? Well, that's cool, I guess." And then it comes out and they're like, it's not as good as the first one." Or you have, I don't know, Star Wars trilogies, right? You had the second one, which is the second trilogy, which is now being revered, by the way, because the new trilogy is so terrible. But back then, that you had the second trilogy coming out, and you had all this stuff with, Anakin, and people were like, it's not as good as the first one. But now you have the new trilogy, and then you have the previous trilogy, the one with Anakin and Jar Jar, and people are looking at this new trilogy and they're like, not as good as the last one. That's pretty bad. But yeah, sometimes sequels, just because you can make a sequel doesn't mean you should. Series has lost its way in the sequel, with many players pointing to the narrative riddled with hollow characters, funky dialogue, and forced DEI themes. That's what happens when you have all these people who spend most of their time on, places like Tumblr, and that's where they again look at Dragon Age: The Failguard. The romance in that, it doesn't sound like real things that people would say. It sounds like something from a fanfic. Things that they think it sounds sexy, but it's creepy. It's stuff that can only fly in a fanfic. The Tosh with the moment with Tosh, like, quick, think about us having sex, and she like basically pins Vrook against the wall. And then she says something about at a collarbone, or it's just like, no real person talks like this. You want to know who does talk like this? People in fanfics. I know. I don't remember if SBI had anything to do with the Failguard, but I'm trying to point out the storytelling and the writing. It's not just a Sweet Baby Inc. problem. It's everyone problem right now. They all write like this. Even if they don't have Sweet Baby Inc. involved. They all write like that. Reports have linked SBI directly to the narrative missteps, leaving fans feeling betrayed. Betrayal, but in truth it was I who was betrayed. Still I am hunted. Still I am hated. And now my blind eyes see what others cannot. Like, dude, did you just quote the entire Illidan thing? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And most of you are now like, John, you were prepared. For people who don't know what I'm even talking about, you are not prepared. I'm sorry. It's early. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning right now. Which, John, that's not early. Yeah, well, I've been awake since like 5 or 6, so it's early for me. Instead of delivering the tense, engaging mystery that they expected, Alan Wake 2 became a platform for shallow messaging and race swaps that alienated its core audience. SBI's involvement often undermines the very element that made established game franchises successful in the first place, almost as if they don't fucking care. Race swapping Norse mythology. But it's a game. It's a game. Why does it matter? Because there were no black Norse figures. Look at the country where, with Norse mythology, they're white. Like, take sour cream or mayonnaise, they're whiter than that. back in the time where you had, you know, people who were talking about Norse mythology or where this stuff would actually kind of taken place. It's not. There were no black Vikings. There are no black Vikings. Sweet Baby Inc. And people can say, "Oh, it's just a game," but then they're taking real figures, like real Norse figures, leaders and kings and this and that, and making them black. You know, it's on Netflix or whatever, like Anne Boleyn, real historical figure, they made black. Queen Elizabeth or Queen Charlotte, whoever, one of the queens, they made black. These are real historical figures, and they're making them black. Not Sweet Baby Inc. I'm just saying that this whole idea of taking characters or taking people and race swapping them for the sake of diversity. Cleopatra, that pissed off the entire country of Egypt. Like, the Egyptian government was like, "Yeah, can you not do that? Cleopatra was revered here in Egypt, but she wasn't black." Like, even the Egyptian government was like, "Can you stop, please? For the love of Ra, can you please stop? Can you stop with the race-swapping characters and historical figures to fit your own needy agenda? Can you do that, please? Please, can you do that, please? We are begging you. From the tips of the pyramids, can you please stop?" But they don't care. They don't care. From polarizing updates in The Sims 2 to its contribution in Alan Wake 2, the firm's involvement has frequently sparked outrage among fans. Its largest and most egregious failure came in Suicide Squad to kill the Justice League. Yeah. No one's playing it. We'll skip right through. Dangerous path forward for Remedy. Remedy's decision to remain tethered to SBI isn't just a creative risk. It's a potential risk to potential threat to the studio's reputation and continued existence. Yeah. I guess they want the Firewalk Studios treatment, just being closed down completely. Studios that work with Sweet Baby Inc. tend to suffer massive layoffs or close entirely. After the disaster of Suicide Squad, developer Rocksteady experienced heavy layoffs that decimated its staff. Yeah. The same happened to SBI client devs Reflector Entertainment and Heart Machine. Both saw huge staff reductions after SBI-induced failures. Like, again, why do people continue to work with them? Its clients, of course, haven't been so lucky. While studios close and people lose their jobs, Kim Blair and her company ride off into this. Exactly. I've said this before. They have the perfect business strategy. They come in, they infiltrate these companies, they get paid, and that's it. That's all they need to do. So if these companies go under and have to fire people, it doesn't matter because they've already been paid. So they can go around and sink all these companies, and it doesn't matter to them because they've already been paid. There's a reason why so many companies who have worked with this thing have had to either layoffs or go out of business, because that's like the whole point. They don't care. They're using it to line their own pockets, and they're using it to push their bullshit agenda. They don't care about the game. They don't care about actual diversity, equity, inclusion. You know, authentic diversity, equity, inclusion. They'll take a character, insert that character, make them black, and be like, there you go. We've done our job. Now pay up. The unannounced Remedy game currently in development with Sweet Baby Inc. is already under intense scrutiny, with fans questioning whether Remedy will once again prioritize. If they're working with Sweet Baby Inc., it's obvious. It's obvious that's what they're doing. The stakes are enormous. They're enormous. The enormous stakes, very enormous. I haven't seen an enormous steak since my own steakhouse. The Remedy's history of crafting memorable games has earned the company goodwill among gamers, but nothing erodes goodwill in the modern gaming world, quite like associating with Kim Blair and SPI. Yeah, Control 2 is screwed. Among all the early celebrating, it was alarming to say the least. The amount of people that missed the news it was going anywhere, merely going to be rebranded as Bridge and becoming an ingrowth part of companies. It's their millions that are at risk, not my money. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're not the ones at risk here. You know, these people want to come out and work with companies like Sweet Baby Inc. to stick it to the chuds, and the only ones who are going to fail, the only ones who are going to be hurting after this, are these companies. We don't have to buy your $80 game. You're spending hundreds of millions of dollars, sometimes up to $800 million to make a game. We're not the ones at risk here. We're not the ones who are going to have to lay off good people. We're not the ones who are going to have to possibly go out of business. That's you. That's you. The company's doing that. That's you who risked this. So instead of worrying about diversity, equity, and inclusion from a company, a consultancy that clearly doesn't know what they're doing, again, go around, talk to the people who work for you, learn their experiences. If they're black, listen closely to their experiences and then incorporate little bits and pieces of all of them into a character. That way it's authentic. That way it feels genuine because there's real people, real personality in that character now. Not that fucking hard, people. But sure, keep hiring and working with Sweet Baby Inc. and having to lose good people who are working for you because you keep losing money. I'm sure it'll work out fine for you in the end. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some fat, ugly incel living in my parents' basement. What do I know? That's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.